You know, should we do the typical YouTuber like, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly 9 ways that you can be making passive income. See, that's what we call a hook. And then they're like, oh, hold on. And then you say, but the last one is easily the most slept on. And it's the one that everyone should and could be doing right now. And that's what we call like a little bait, right? Someone's like, oh, by the end, I gotta stick around until the end because dang, he just said that it's his favorite one. So let's get into it. Let's get into all 9. Well, all seriousness, I had to really strip out a lot of ideas that were more side hustle based, that were more active. So truly, I think that what I'm gonna talk about today, not 100% passive because of the legwork that it takes to set up.
You lied.
So sue me!
But once you do, I promise it's worth it. Let's get into it. Okay, number 1 is gonna be content. Let's talk about this. There are so many ways that you can make passive income from content. This is what I'm talking about though. It's not like completely passive. It's not like you can just decide to make passive income from content and then the money starts coming in, right? You have to actually put a lot of, try to catch me when I say right. That is like my new thing that I'm like, so content is king. I don't remember what I was saying. Content is not something that you can just decide, oh, I wanna make passive money from content. Let's let the passive machine begin. No, it takes a lot of work to establish yourself as a content creator, right? Hell, it takes a lot of time for you to establish your platform as a content creator. I have been doing YouTube for about 2 years now. 2.5 years? 3. I've been doing YouTube for 3 years, man. No wonder I have so many gray hairs. And as I've reported on the channel in the past, I make money from AdSense. So every single time that someone watches my video, Google serves up an ad to the audience, and every single time the audience watches that video or clicks on it, I get like a percentage of a cent.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
But when there's thousands of views cranking or tens of thousands of views cranking, that cent might add up to a few cents or a few dollars. And this month alone, I've made $5,447.82, which is honestly a little bit low, but the reason this is passive, when you build up an entire catalog of videos, I mean, I think at this point I have well over 150 videos on my channel. Even when I'm not creating content, YouTube is still serving up my content to new audiences, or just serving up my older content to my newer audience, or my newer content to my older audience, right? And in doing this thousands of times to audiences, I make money passively. Now let's talk about the non-passive aspect of this job. Even though I make money from my older videos, I still have to feed the YouTube machine. I still have to make new content because if I stop making content, YouTube typically won't serve up my older content quite as much. So you could argue that it's not all that passive because I still have to record and edit a ton of content to feed the YouTube machine. However, because I put in the work, my older videos get served up more, and that's the passive part.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad. You keep digging.
YouTube is not the only place to make passive income as a creator. There are also platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and if you want to make this world a lot more passive, there are editing agencies and shorts agencies that will take your long form content, chop it up into short form content, and post it on your behalf, which then feeds your machine. So you can work to make content a little bit more passive, but you still have to show up and make the video. On top of that, let's say that you're not a video creator, you have no intention of making video content because you're not good on camera. That's totally fine. You can also make money writing. You'd be surprised at how much money you can make writing, but take for example, medium.com. You can go onto that website and write articles, and if one of the articles that you write go viral on their website, I'm pretty sure you can make like 5 figures with a really, really viral article. I'm nearly 100% sure that Shelby Church wrote an article on medium.com that went viral and made like $10,000. Kayla, maybe you can check me.
On the day that I'm editing this, it's made over $6,000 in total.
All right, the second way that you can make money passively feeds perfectly from way number 1, and that's through what we call affiliates. So the idea behind affiliates is that basically you promote a product, and if you help that product sell for the company that you're promoting, they will give you a small cut of the revenue of the product that you help sell. So in any of my YouTube videos, if you hear me talk about a product like AirDNA or Guesty or Price Labs or anything like that, and you hear me say, click the link down in the description down below, and then you say, hey, Rob likes those brands. He's the leader of the short-term rental industry. I wanna do what he's doing. Let me go and buy those brands. I get a small kickback from that. Now, I will say that when you're doing this, make sure that you're affiliating for brands that you actually like and use. That can backfire on you very quickly. Any brands that I ever shill or push or promote, I actually use and I actually like.
Heroin AM. from the makers of Cocaine PM.
But the reason I wanted to put this as number 2 is because it's so closely tied to content. You can have a very small channel. In fact, I know lots of people that have much smaller channels than me that make way more money in affiliates. For reference, I would say that the best month I've ever had from an affiliate standpoint, I probably made $75,000.
God!
It's not always that good. Sometimes it's 40,000, sometimes it's 50, 60, 75, right? You never know what you're gonna get.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done.
But the reason that I like that money is because I've spent so much time making content, right? Which isn't necessarily passive. It is active, but when I make that content and I promote these brands, that content gets pushed out to people. They go and they use the promo code that I give them to save them money. And by doing that, it starts to snowball and compound until I make tens of thousands of dollars every single month. So affiliates can be a very powerful tool for monetizing your content. I think you can have a very small content channel and make less than $1,000 a month in AdSense, but still figure out how you can make $10, $20, $30,000 a month from affiliates. The same thing would go for writing, right? I talked about medium.com, but you could also become a blogger. If you became a very popular blogger in a niche, I actually met a guy that was a blogger for like golden retrievers, for example. He would be an affiliate for like BarkBox and all these different pet tools, and he made thousands of dollars every single month affiliating for these pet brands because he had like the top golden retriever blog site on the internet or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something crazy like that where I was like, dang man, you make a lot of money writing about dogs. So the sky's the limit for affiliates. I'll give you another example of how I've monetized my platform to make me really good money with affiliates. I'm an Airbnb host and I use very specific furniture for all of my listings. People would constantly come to me and say, hey, what couch do you use? What mattress do you use? And I would just send people links all the time, didn't really keep track of it. And then one day I had this idea, what if I joined the Amazon affiliate program and I put all those links on a PDF and I gave that PDF away for free? That's exactly what I ended up doing in my Amazon affiliates last year alone, just how much money I made on Amazon from referring people to the products that I personally use. In the last 30 days, I made $3,941.41. And last year, I made $75,378.83. That is a salary, by the way. You can make a full American salary being an affiliate for people if you consistently make content and promote brands that you actually know and love. That's the moral of the story with affiliates.
I'm rich.
The third way that you can make money passively is stocks, and allowing those stocks to pay you what are called dividends. Boring! See, that's why all of these are always like, oh, let me tell you these mind-melting ways to make passive income. Invest in stocks. And it's like, oh, thank you for the thing that everyone says. So anyways, invest in stocks, I guess, if you want dividends. Boring, next. All the finance bros right now are like, dude, what the heck, man? Don't you know that investing consistently in stocks yields a 10% return year over year? And it's not necessarily about timing the market, but time in the market. And if you put in just $300 every single month into Roth ROA, you'd have $2 million by the time you're retired? Yeah, I get it. Shut up. Number 3. See, I'm just kidding. That's funny. That's comedy. Laugh, finance bro. Laugh. Number 4. Oh, it's going to be number 4. It's going to be number 4. Yes, I believe it is. Welcome, it's your friend Robbie. It's gonna be number 4.
I just don't like you no more.
Harbin Darbin. Number 4 is gonna be courses. This is definitely gonna be at the top of the list for me in terms of money that you can make passively. I have a whole course and education system built out with HostCamp. It's not completely passive for me because I'm so involved in that business, and I'm really focused on making that business an 8-figure business. It really relies on me to be the subject matter expert, lots of live calls. Not really anything about HostCamp at this particular moment is passive. HostCamp isn't particularly passive because that's the model that we've chosen for that particular program, whereas there are a lot of content creators that will film, record, and edit a course, upload it to a library, and then you get to buy it on demand from anywhere from like $50 to $2,000. I don't do too much from that bucket specifically, so I don't personally make passive income from courses yet, but it is a part of my 2023 plan to make maybe 3 or 4 or 5 mini courses that I sell for, let's say $500, and that, whenever someone buys it, is 100% passive because it doesn't rely on the live element of me showing up and teaching because it's all pre-recorded, unlike HostCamp that relies on me and about another dozen coaches to host monthly calls. In fact, I think it's over 100 per year at this point. So going back to the point though, this is another place that you can make money passively. However, it does take a lot of active work. You have to go and you have to outline your course, you have to write it out, you have to record it, You have to edit it. You have to figure out if you're gonna upload it to Kajabi, if you're gonna upload it to Teachable. Then you have to build an email list. Then you have to market it. Then you have to study your landing page to see why people are buying or why they aren't buying, checking conversion statistics and whatnot. And once you've done all that and you've figured out that entire process, then it becomes passive, right? So don't ever believe anyone that's saying like, oh yeah, you can just make a course and make tens of thousands of dollars every single month. That's 100% true, but it's not that easy. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna make a course and I'll make $10,000 a month. A lot of work goes into it, but the moment that you're done with all that work, it really does become passive, which is why I wanna move a little bit more in that direction. And I think that there are a lot of people that have the ability to make 6 or 7 figures making courses, and they just don't know it. Think about it. Let me ask you this, viewer that's watching this at the moment. Are you so knowledgeable about a topic in your life that when you talk about it to your friends or your family, they immediately tune out because they're bored? If you're that person that people are like, oh, you're the short-term rental guy, or oh, you're the DIY girl, oh, you're the stock trading guy, whatever category you fall in, if that's you, consider making content, number 1 on this list, proving your credibility, showing people that you know your stuff, and then from there you can make a course, and once you've proven that you're knowledgeable on the content side of things, people will trust you and buy your course. Contrary to popular belief, you don't have to have a large social following to make thousands of dollars every single month selling your course. This is a really big misconception. You can develop a really robust ad strategy. You can let other people or other influencers be affiliates for your course, and then you pay them an affiliate fee, and you can get traffic into your course that way. There are many people with less followings than me, and there are certainly people that have no followings at all from a social perspective that make 7 or 8 figures a year with courses. This is something that's very possible. Just ask yourself, what am I really f***ing good at? What am I the smartest person at out of anyone I know? And if you can think of something, start making content, get a course out there. Once you have the course out there, you can start promoting all of the products that you use, and all the people that buy your course will also buy all the products that you use because they trust you, because you're an expert at that topic, and then you'll also make money from the affiliates. It's all just one really big circular spider web of synergy. Synergy, it's cool. Synergy's cool. And one more thing, let's just say that you don't want to do the social thing, you don't want to make content. You're like, dude, you keep talking about this, I don't want to be a YouTuber. I have no interest in building up a following. There's actually another way that you can make course building even more passive than anything that I just talked about, and it's by making a course and uploading it to Skillshare. Today's video is brought to you by Skillshare. No, I'm just kidding, it's not. But I've heard of a lot of people that will just make courses about something that they're really good at, upload it to Skillshare, and make thousands of dollars. I mean, Ali Abdal, a very prominent YouTuber, especially in the education space, I think he made like $750,000 from Skillshare because he has like 6 or 7 courses on there.
So actually this year we've only made $778,131, which is still pretty absurd.
And those courses are very successful and get a lot of watch time, get a lot of views from people. And it's not because he's a really big YouTube star. It's because people have found him on that website. So again, make a course about something that you're really good at, upload it to Skillshare at the least, and maybe you'll make $100, $200 a month. Don't sleep on that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of Chipotle burritos. Number 5, real estate investing. What? Real estate can't be passive, Rob? It actually can. It's not necessarily passive the way that I do it, which is short-term rentals. I teach everyone on this channel how to self-manage Airbnbs, and while we can make it relatively not super active and we can automate a lot of the process, Airbnbs are not necessarily a passive place to invest. The traditional way of making real estate super passive would be to buy a house that will serve as a long-term rental, and then you basically pass that off to a property manager to manage it for you, and you make it completely passive that way. Now, with that said, the returns are obviously going to be lower because you're now paying someone a property management fee, but overall, if you're working to make your income much more passive, you effectively need a property manager. If you want to make a little bit higher of a return than that, you can get a short-term rental, like I said, and then have a property manager, like I said, manage it for you, and you can make real estate investing completely passive. The only part of it that's not going to be passive is going out and finding the property, getting pre-approved, buying the property, finding the property manager, and then, assigning it to them. Or if you're gonna do a short-term rental, doing all that and then furnishing it and getting it updated and getting it ready for short-term rentals, and then pass it on to a property manager. But at the end of the day, there are ways that you can make real estate completely passive. It's just obviously gonna make your returns a little bit smaller because again, you're gonna be paying staff to run it for you. All right, next, number 4, 5, 6. Number 6. All right, so let's say that you're like, Rob, everything that you just described about real estate, that I can buy the house and then make it passive by hiring a property manager. I don't want to do any of that, man. I don't want to buy property. Do you not understand? I'm busy. I just want to invest my money and make it passively in real estate. Well, good news for you. There are what are called funds or REITs. We'll put the little definition here somewhere. Here, maybe you won't even see my face. There's like a B-roll of what these things are. And effectively, these funds and these REITs, what they do is they go and they raise money from investors, and they take your money and they deploy it into other real estate assets, and they manage all of it for you. They buy all of it for you. They run the property. They do everything from top to bottom. And in return, they give you a return on the money that you invested into their fund. This is actually where I'm moving in my real estate world, on the opposite side of this. I'm launching Raw Built Capital. It's not up and running yet, but if you're interested in learning more about it, I'll leave a link in the description down below. But this is the model that I'm gonna be moving toward. Instead of working one-on-one with investors, I am gonna be pooling investor cash. I'm gonna be deploying that into really cool developments and glam sites and unique stays that will in theory generate a lot of money that I can then give back to investors and have a little bit for myself too. This is the #1 way to stay 100% passive, where you don't have to deal with any of the BS that you have to deal with typically in real estate. Typically the returns are still pretty good or comparable than if you were going out and doing it yourself, because the people that are running these REITs or funds are very highly trained people whose job it is to go out and find good deals that cash flow. And the cool thing about funds most of the time is that when you invest in them, you still get the real estate tax benefit. So you still kind of get to reap the rewards of owning real estate, even if you're not physically buying it and you're entrusting other people to go and buy it. A lot of these funds and REITs typically offer anywhere from an 8 to 10% preferred return. Then on top of that, there's usually profit too that gets dispersed to you. So there's a lot of nuts and bolts to go over with funds. Make sure that whoever you invest in or whatever fund you're investing in, you actually trust and you know the people that are running it. But overall, a really great place to deploy funds and make a passive paycheck. #7, also going to be in the real estate space, but on the opposite side of it, and this is just private money lending. Effectively, you could lend out your money to someone who really needs it to go and fund a real estate transaction. For example, if someone owns a home that they want to flip and they need $100,000 to make that happen, if I have $100,000 chilling in my bank account, but I'm not necessarily doing anything with it, and I don't necessarily have plans or any ideas for what to do with it, I could lend that $100,000 to this real estate investor that needs the money to go and make their flip, and I can charge them an interest rate to do so. In fact, I could charge anywhere from 8 to 12% to do so. So let's just say that I charge an interest rate 10%, which is a little bit more standard right now. If I gave someone $100,000, I would expect to be paid back $110,000 365 days from now. And there are ways that you can protect yourself when you're lending out this money through promissory notes and working with lawyers and everything like that. So I'm not going to say it's necessarily a safe investment because it is a higher return, but it is something that is contractually guaranteed that you lend someone $100,000, you expect 10% interest over the course of a year, right? You don't know what you're going to make if you invest in the stock market or in crypto or anything. You could deploy $100,000, and historically, stocks will give you a 10% return. It's just not necessarily guaranteed that you're going to get a 10% return this year. You don't really know, because when you're investing in stocks, it's a long game, not a short game. But with private money lending, you dictate the terms. If you want 15% interest, you can give it out for 15% interest. I don't know how many people will take you up on it, but theoretically, if someone is desperate and they need the money for a rehab and they'll still make money even if they pay you 15%, great, good for you. You've just made a 15% return on your money, and it's completely passive because you're not the one that's going to deploy it. You're not the one that's actually doing the rehab or doing the sale or anything like that. All right, so private money lending, you get guaranteed terms, but still, there's some risk there. More volatility compared to #8 on the list, which is high yield interest savings account. Unless you just want the one, then you can have a high yield interest savings account. But high yield interest savings accounts, this is a really easy passive place to make money. Granted, you're not gonna make a ton of money unless you have a lot of money in there, but it's still passive. It's still roughly right now, at some of the ones that we were just looking at, 4%. So if you put $100,000 into one of these 4% high yield interest savings accounts, you'll make $4,000 over the course of a year, which is about $400 a month. That's a lot when you compare to what savings accounts typically are, which are like 0.001%. So it's actually like, we're in this crazy time right now where interest rates are negatively affecting almost everything, especially in like real estate, except for high yield interest savings accounts. So something to think about. So that's a really good place to park your money if you have gobs of money sitting around. If you do, then you should be lending that to me privately as a private money lender, and I'll give you an 8% return. I'll leave a link in the description down below if that's something that interests you. One thing to note about these types of savings accounts or the interest or whatever, make sure that you check all the boxes. Some of them have specific stipulations, like you have to have direct deposit into your account twice a month. You have to have bill pay activated. You have to like do all these things that Caleb is gonna like list right here. And then you get the 4% interest rate. So make sure that you read the terms and conditions before you just like go and open the account. I just gave you an opportunity to be funny. Is this funny? Did Caleb do a good job? Are you laughing? Are you? Ah, I see you smiling back there. Caleb, look, you made Daryl laugh.
40, 50, 60, 70, 20, 21.
He's the only one laughing there. Everyone else is like, unsubscribe. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. Number 9, the final one on this, perhaps the most left field one that I'm gonna throw out there, but this is technically passive, and it's investing in crypto mining. Even have Caleb bleep that out and just put it in front of me, because I just feel by saying the word I've now engaged all of the bots that are like, oh, yes, Mrs. Becky changed my life. Oh, I thank the Lord for today. I logged into my bank account and saw my $10,000 deposit just sitting there. Thanks, Miss Becky. Traditionally, this meant you go and you buy your own rig, you buy your own computer, you hook it up in your house, and it drains your utilities, and you pay a lot of money in utilities, but you get all this being mined passively. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more going to some of these big companies that have giant solar farms all around the world, and then you basically buy a computer from their inventory, put it in their warehouse, pay them for their electricity, and they just run the whole operation for you, and it produces Bitcoin or whatever you choose to invest in. I don't know, I think they're all risky. I think is definitely the most solid. And then you just leave it there running, and it just makes it for you over time. That's the only way that you can really make this passive, but I do know people that have done it that have paid back their investment in 1 to 2 years, and then after that, they're just basically getting little snacks, little Satoshi snacks into their wallet, and they make money passively doing it that way. This is definitely something I think you should research. I'm not going to endorse anybody, because remember what I said about the affiliates. You should affiliate for things that make sense for you. I affiliate for Airbnb and real estate products. Not going to affiliate for mining companies, but they are an option out there if you're interested in that world. And that's it. That is number 9. That is number 9. That is the final one. Did I scare you? Did I scare you when I... Sorry about that. And I imagine that I probably scared some people at home. Someone's like probably feeding their baby and they're like, oh shit, I'm sorry, little baby Lou. Also, if you named your baby Lou, that's a weird name. Why would you call him baby? It doesn't matter. Thank you so much for watching tonight, for today, this morning, whatever time you're watching this respectively. I hope that those gave you ideas on how to invest passively and make money passively. If there's any of these specifically that you're very interested in, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I could do a deep dive. I think for basically all of these, do them all. I think I could make full-on videos about all of these. I'd actually like to do more videos on courses and content and affiliates, but you know, we're a real estate channel. We got to keep the bread and butter going. But if that's interesting to you, maybe I'll do it. Maybe if 50 people comment, make more videos about courses and how to do that, I'll do it. Okay? Good night. Bye-bye.